Careful what you say or you'll get too big.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I almost messed up and didn't play the opening music. It would have just been me and Dave sitting there looking at each other going, what the hell? I don't know if anybody heard the oh shit when I realized what had happened. Hey, John.
That was
good
good.
To see you here. Robert, Bob. Yeah, we are. We're missing a biddle.
Yeah, somebody's tardy. He's going to get written up when he shows up. But in his defense, he did warn us.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he got stuck in traffic coming back from somewhere. So
yeah, he got to go hang out with AA Ron and his wife. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think they went fossil hunting or something. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it actually did. I saw some of his pictures. It did look really good.
So
he anyway,
has fun, and we gotta carry the show for a little bit before he gets here.
We got about 15 minutes of talking trash about Kenny, at least.
Oh yeah, I mean that can be the first part of the show is talking Biddle trash.
Yeah, about how fortunate we are to work with such a pair of celebrity as Kenny Biddle.
and how we certainly feel the full impact of his absence.
Oh, yeah. It's, I mean, just incredible.
All right. So what do we got on tap for tonight, Tim, besides picking on Kenny?
Yeah, I had to come up with a topic, and I remember doing this before, and it seemed like it was pretty fun, so I thought I would do it again. We're just going to play some EVPs for you, for me and Kenny. That's right. I was hoping so. I was hoping you were listening.
It's funny he's listening, but he's not on the show.
Yeah, but you know his presence, his para-celebrity presence is good enough. Just because he's in the chat room, will carry the show for us.
You think he could muster up a doppelganger and be in two places at once with the level of status he has?
Yeah. Hey, Jade Kitten. Good to see you here, Red Man. So, yeah. So I thought, why not? You know, I guess as an opening, my thoughts are, as far as things that torture me, watching EVPs on television shows or, you know, people that put out, this is just the most amazing EVP ever caught. It kind of tortures me to a little bit, or at least as a pet peeve of mine, that they will present it with a lot of context, a lot of scary music, a lot of scary backgrounds. You know, they give this history of it, and then they play this EVP that they capture, but they also do subtitles with it. I also don't like that they play the actual question. I know that that's important to some people. But I thought if you just didn't play the question, could you still understand or think that you do understand what the response to your question is? Now, let me just be clear. Like, I'm not saying ghosts aren't real. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying I'm not here complaining that they are not, or that they may or may not be able to communicate. I just kind of like want to address the kind of presentation of how EVPs are most commonly presented. I think a way to help aid in validating what other people can hear is if you just give them what you consider the EVP itself with no context and try it out. With some of these, I actually did. I did with some coworkers at two places that I work, and I asked them to see if they could identify it. And at least according to what they heard and versus what the original posters had posted, what they heard the EVP, they just weren't consistent. Something in retrospect, which I would have liked to have been able to do if I could have done the question to see if they could hear what
let me mute. Sorry.
That's okay. It's Kenny. Kenny's telling us to shut up. In retrospect, I would have liked to have tested that as well with playing a question to see if they would have come closer to coming up with what the original poster of the EVP had said. So we thought, let's just play some EVPs that we have found and see if you guys, the listeners, really want you guys to get involved and type what you hear. I will just play the EVP, once. We'll kind of talk about it a little bit, and we'll go from there. So before we get started, what do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I like when we do this. It's a lot of fun. I usually can't hear shit when I listen to these. I've never been very good at it, but I enjoy listening to them and seeing what I can come up with. I have 4 of them that I'm going to put forward tonight. People can listen to and take a stab at what they think it might be. But, your comment about having different people listen to it without the question and trying to agree on what is said. I'm really surprised that method hasn't caught on, because that's really the way they should be doing it. Is you peel out what you think is there, let people listen to it independently, and have them all put it down without the influence of others or being primed, and see if they agree. And then if you would get agreement, which unfortunately most of the time you do not, if you by chance would get agreement with your listening group, it would be great then to send it off to somebody else and say, here's the answer they got, here's the question, and now somehow grade the context of the answer with the question. So we've talked about this many times before, and I still don't see people doing a whole lot of that. It's basically, good catch, bro. I heard it. That's exactly what I heard after you told me what you heard. And on the TV shows, it drives me nuts because they typically put what they think it says right up as they're playing it. So we didn't do that tonight. We usually don't. So we will play a couple and see what you all think. And I think we're going to have some fun. This should be good.
Yeah. Also, while I was searching through this, I actually came up with some interesting phenomena or effects, if you were, about auditory illusions. I thought if we had time at the end, I could play some clips that are
or we can do it now to burn time until Kenny gets here.
Oh, you want to do it now?
I don't know if it's going to really impact any of the listening or interpretation of the EVPs. Do you?
No. Well,
it's up to you. I mean, if you want to wait until the end, that's fine.
Let's go ahead. Let me see one of mine here. I think I'll start with, hold on. I almost messed up. I almost closed this whole thing.
Tim almost ended the show. And
I almost ended the show trying to open up this tab.
So then we would have bookmarks. We have the 3-hour show we did one time, and then we'd have the 8-minute show that Tim would be in charge of tonight.
Oh, I would love to do the 8-minute show. All right, so let me get it over here and get ready. I'm going to share the screen. This is something called I'm going to mess up the words. I know I'm going to mess up what it's called. Phonemic restoration effect. And there's not really, I want to tell you about it because I'll spoil it. But what it's going to do, and I want to give credit to the YouTube channel that I'm going to use this with, is Casey Connor. I think I didn't get a chance to look at the rest of it, but this is a really well done example, I think, and it's very nice. So it's an example. I think it's going to be a good example of some of the errors. Is errors a good word, Dave, that you can have while you're like looking around? I did. It was very close, John. I almost closed the whole show.
Tim almost victored all of us in 8 minutes.
There was a huge warning box. It was like, "Are you sure you want to close the show?" I was like, "Oh shit, no,
dude!" It took you years to get victored from another show. I mean,
Mhm.
it's shit. 8 minutes of your own self-vickering. That's
I'm
awesome.
bickered from shit in my own state, and I love my state. So this is the phenomic restoration effect. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me go ahead and share. Let me pull this up. And it's really just something while we wait for Kenny. It's just like a nice little educational plug. I enjoyed it. It gave me something to think about later, to look up, especially when you're considering EVP work. If you're really serious about EVP work, you can start looking at the errors that you can make as a human being with your own brain and your own ear. So I'm going to go ahead and add this, and yeah, we'll get started. This is like an ad we have to
I'm
go
Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to hear, but it's important.
Masking and the phonemic restoration effect. You've probably heard of the blind spot of the human eye. It's the place on the retina where the optic nerve joins. We can't see anything there, but our brain fills in the details for us. It invents an image where there is none. Our ears do the same thing. If you don't believe me, listen to the sentences I just spoke, but this time I'll take out the background sounds that I mixed in. You've probably heard of the blind spot of the human eye. It's the place on the retina where the optic nerve joins. We can't see anything there, but our brain fills in the details for us. It invents an image where there is none. Our ears do the same thing. You may have heard some of those gaps as gaps, but I bet you didn't hear all of them. Those first sentences hid another secret. You've probably heard of the blind spot of the human eye. Did you hear this in the background? I'm amplifying it now so you can hear it. This is the actual volume it was playing at. Here it is again, being masked by the first sentence. You've probably heard of the blind spot of the human eye. You've probably heard of the blind spot of the human eye. One famous application of this masking effect is in the compression of audio. A compressed audio file needs to be as small as possible. The designers of compression formats like Vorbis, AAC, and MP3 realized that if we can't hear it, there is no point in keeping the data around. So when the audio is compressed, you can throw out the parts that aren't.
All right, I think that's probably pretty good. I hope that everybody could kind of catch what was happening there. I think it's a really cool phenomenon. I like how it addresses it and is an analogous to the blind spot with our eyes, that it happens with your ear as well. So you can actually completely dismiss a word from a sentence, and if there's another auditory cue or at least noise that is happening during that miss of the sentence, your brain will actually fill in the word that you think should be there. And that was pretty cool. I like that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Again, I just kind of like this is I don't think it's a thing. I'm pouring more alcohol because why not? I don't think it's it's something that's going to say that this is what's going to prove that there's no such thing as EVP and the EVP that you got is not real. I just think if you're going to look at things, look at things that can mess you up as well. And just falling into this type of auditory illusion was pretty good. And that's my demonic cat in the background. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was interesting. I mean, it's good to know what the potential pitfalls are and what perception may or may not do, and what misperception or really little hiccups in perception might cause you to interpret as far as listening to EVPs. And the part about compression is interesting because a lot of the digital recorders, I remember back in the day we looked at digital recorders versus analog recorders, and one of the things we found was there's a lot of compression going on and going from the analog to digital, and then of course making the files a reasonable size, so there was a fair amount of compression. Little different than what you do with the actual sound compression in a EQ type situation. But then again, it shows that even the technology itself can have those type of limitations, not just your perception of it, but the technology. So if you're converting analog to digital and you get these compression issues, it does give you a much different recording than a true old analog high quality tape recorder. We ran a couple of experiments back in the day where you do these EVP sessions and or soundscapes and run a digital recorder with, you know, high quality microphones attached to it, external microphones, and then do the same thing with like a real high end Fostex with, you know, the same microphones. And the difference in what you record in the environment was incredible. Totally different. So things that we thought were EVPs on the digital recorders were nothing but normal sounds in the environment, but because of the analog to digital conversion and then the compression and other things involved of getting that analog to digital signal, it totally made you think you had something that nobody else heard at the time.
Oh, hold on. We have a question from John.
Yep.
With everything we have currently, what do you guys suggest for the best quality of an EVP?
What do you mean best quality? Like equipment?
I think so.
Yeah, I think for me, the Zoom, like the I don't know what they're up to, H6 or H7 now. Those are pretty high quality with good stereo microphones. I also have you know, Fostex recorders. I got some kind of high end stuff that you use in the music world when you're recording bands or other things. So I think the higher quality, the higher sampling rate, if you're going to go digital, if you can get now, I mean, they make them stereo surround sound recorders, which is probably the best way to go at this point. And as much as the internal mics on them are really good, I always would prefer an external mic. But again, I'm going to be honest with you, I have not pursued EVP recordings probably since 2011, because we just really haven't ever found. I mean, we've got a couple ones where you're like, okay, I can't explain it. We think we can controlled conditions. It may be something, it may not, but it's so rare. And then again, when I go back and look at the experiment we did with the analog and then comparing to digital, it eliminated another 90% of what we thought were EVPs. So I just haven't recorded things frequently for EVP in a very long time. But from what I read, I think the newer Zoom models are pretty good, especially, I mean, their microphones are fantastic. And if you can get that and hook up external mics, that's great. Or you can get some very high-end digital multi-track recorders. And if you can hook up multiple microphones to the different channels, that's something that would be a good way to go as well. To me, it'd be really interesting if you did that and you actually got an EVP on one channel, but it didn't record on the other. That would be interesting, because at least in some way you might rule out some of the potential contamination and background noise. So, all right, I'm going to stop fucking rambling so we can introduce para-celebrity Kenny Biddle.
Oh, wait. I hope I get this right. Hold on.
Oh my God. You guys, I love you guys, even though you suck.
That's what
We
you get
love
for
you
being
too.
late, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know.
You could hear us, but you didn't see the signs we held up talking shit.
Oh, I was watching. So
Oh.
Donna was driving, so I actually had the show up and on my phone watching. But
Make
yeah,
sure we're going to talk too much shit, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, as soon as I popped on and like you guys are talking shit about me, I'm like, oh, look at this. That's good. That's awesome.
You would be disappointed if we weren't.
I would
Come on.
be.
Let's be honest, right?
I would be. Yes. I was very happy. And I was like, oh, look, they're talking shit. They love me. That's great.
We do.
The
I got another question from Redman. Hold on.
We'll do a question and maybe let Kenny do his opening comments on how much he loves EVP.
Yeah, I missed this one when I read the other one. I didn't want him to think, I'm slurring already. This is good. I didn't want Redman to think that I skipped it on purpose. So that's why I want to get into this one. So does anyone remember early in season 1 of Ghost Hunters, they didn't want people to say what they caught EVP was. Then they suddenly stopped doing that. I can remember when they would say that, but I don't remember when they suddenly stopped.
I think he's right with his time frame, because I vaguely at this point remember I like season 1 a lot because they debunked a lot of stuff. They were pretty critical. And EVPs, I recall somewhat that they did not have people say what they thought it was, and they didn't prime them. But they got away from that because you know why? Nobody heard what the fuck they were hearing, and it's not good ratings.
No.
So it's better if you say, "Hey, I heard the ghost say, you know, get out or whatever," instead of letting them come up with something themselves.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably a production thing. I don't know. I hear, you know, there might be one of three of us that have a contact with Jason Hawes. I could probably have a few beers and get that figured out and ask him what happened there. So I don't know. I think you're right, though, from the time period.
I would agree, too, because it's probably a production thing, depending on how much feedback they got from fans, because they probably started out that way. Because I remember, too, the first season, they were actually trying and debunking stuff and saying, look, we found a reason for this. And I think they got some feedback saying, hey, you know, people don't like this because they're ghost hunters and they're watching to see ghosts. Stop debunking shit. And of course, I mean, certain people that were part of the early seasons, Grant, probably took on more of a role of making sure things were spooky and shit. So, but yeah, I think it was more a production thing. And plus, that was like, it wasn't the first quote unquote ghost hunting show, but I think that was the first reality based one. Like our modern reality TV. So I think they were learning at the time, like what the audience wanted. And that was probably it. The audience wanted to know what was being said. And not like I'm defending them, but I mean, that's I think that would be a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that season, why that's very familiar to me is because that changed how we did it. Like we used to sit around our group and say what we thought we heard until we all came to a consensus, and they were like, yeah, that's it, this is great, this is lock and solid, you know, this is scientific proof. So after that, what we did was we started just writing them down on pieces of paper, and then we would compare the paper afterwards.
Nice.
All right, here you go. I like this. That's pretty much everything right before every show we're saluting.
That's how we answer the phone too. Hey, fuck you. What's up?
Oh man.
All right. Well, you ready? You want me to play one and see how it goes?
Did Kenny have an opening comment, or are we just gonna blow over that tonight?
I can keep it short. I don't like EVPs. I think they suck. They are the vast majority, if not all, that I've experienced or I've interacted with have been done under the worst conditions that you could record. There's no backup, there's no support, there's nothing for it. So I'm not, I mean, it sounds like I'm dismissing everything, but I'm really not. I'm just most of the ones that I've come across just because of those issues. Just leaving a recorder out and then walking away and coming back hours later, that's not control of the environment. You have no idea what happens in that room or in that building when you're gone. People saying, well, there was no male on scene at the time, or there was no female on scene at the time. That's not a control to me. I hear that a lot, but
I hear that a lot.
Depending on people's voices and their tone and their level of excitement, yes, people can sound like males or females when they are not either one or one or the other. I don't know if I said that right. But I mean, you can get excited and people's voices get high and they get excited. And yeah, I mean, and I know a lot of people, doesn't matter what equipment you have, that when they get scared and they scream, they all sound exactly the same. So there is no telling the difference. There's just so much wrong with the capturing of alleged EVPs that I can't take them seriously. And I really don't. Unless I'm asked to look at it or listen to it. And then again, this is something I wanted to comment on because I heard Tim, you brought that video up talking about the thing you were having trouble pronouncing. But
phonemic restoration effect.
There you go. there is there's a whole bunch of YouTube channels, and several of them I watch. They are from teachers that teach English, and it's usually like they either teach English to it's like a learning channel for everyone, even native speakers, but it's also for people that teach foreigners. They're teaching them English. And there was a particular video, I don't have the woman's name, but I tried to get her to guest on my show, but unfortunately her schedule was booked. But she did a video where she was talking about how even native speakers, meaning people that speak English as a native language, couldn't pick out what people were saying. And during the course of the video, she was playing clips from the TV show Friends. And it was different clips where she would take it like you guys were talking about earlier, taking them out of context. So you didn't hear like the question that was asked. You just heard the response. And I was amazed at how I couldn't figure out what was being said. And I'm a big fan of Friends. I've watched every episode like a dozen times, you know, just because that was what I grew up with. And I still couldn't figure out, like I could figure out the voices. Like I knew it was you know, Rachel or Ross or who was saying it, but you could not understand the words. And she did something that we would do. The teacher actually took her laptop to her family and played the clips, just like playing EVPs for ghost hunters. She would play the clip and sit down and say, all right, what do you hear? And they were coming up with different responses. Nobody could say the same thing because it was either too quick. And native English speakers have a tendency to combine words. Like a famous Philly example is, did you eat yet? Like, did you eat yet? We say it all as one word. You know, when you're like, you come down, it's dinner time. You're like, did you eat yet? And it's like one word, but we know what we're saying, you know, and I'm sure you guys have the same similar things in your areas, but it's a funny G yet. Yes. John Kennedy, G yet. It's a common thing, but if you're not ready for it, you know, like if I come downstairs and say, you know, I'm getting hungry, G yet, you know, like you can get it, you can get the context of it. But if I just come down and say G yet, you're like, what the fuck did you say? You know, you have no idea. And this is what we're dealing with EVPs. You're taking a garbage pile of sound, background noise and other noises, and holy shit, don't even bring in the ghost box bullshit, where you have constant feed of different signals coming in. But you have all this background noise, people talking sometimes, and vibration from people sitting or bumping the table or holding the recorder. I hate that. I hate when they hold it, where you get this mess of noise and you have no idea what you're getting. No, non-handheld. Do you recommend non-handheld? Yes, I don't recommend you. One of the things, and I'm just going to roll on into this answer and then I'll stop talking. One of the things I recommend is figure out how to put it in a shock mount. So get one of, oh shit, I just messed up my mic. Put it in a shock mount where it's suspended. And that way you take care of, well, mostly, I got to fix this now. You take care of, I'm going to hold the mic. You take care of the problem of vibration from movements and from bumping it. And it absorbs that vibration, and that way it cuts down on, especially when people using those old piece of shit Panasonic recorders, because they were notorious for being handheld, and just the friction of your hand caused these almost roars or growls, and people took that as real. So I'm going to mute my mic and fix this, and you guys can take over.
JD's asking to see my cat, so go ahead, Dave, while I try to. This is the one.
Tim's evil haunted cat.
She's wanting to go out. She's really mad. Oh,
nice.
Yeah. I'm going to get an EVP here in a minute when she calls me. She's looking really mad at me because she's ready to go.
All right. So I think we're ready to jump into some of the EVPs, Tim.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me hide this. And I'll start with the first one. I'm not going to give any context. Just pull it up here and get ready. Stop.
It's almost there.
So just for reference, not about this, but I did what I did to search for EVPs to use. I Googled top 10 EVPs, best electronic voice phenomena of 2020 to 2022. So I looked for at least titles that were claiming to be the best and the clearest. So that's where these come from. Not that necessarily that they are, but I wanted to at least find the best. So here we go. I hope everybody can hear it. So, did they hear it? Did you guys hear it?
I heard it.
I heard something
I will see
like
if I...
the kind of noise that you hear when you're in bed and you're like, what was that? Is that something? And then you think, like some of us think, this is where a horror movie starts, right here, this moment.
Yep. So go play it again.
Yep. I think Bob, yeah, it's an awesome zombie sound.
All right. So this was very clear. This was one of the best of the best.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you have any shots, put them in the chat. We'll put it up. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you two options. One will be correct and one will be incorrect.
Ooh.
Prank pervert call.
Prank
That's what it does
pervert
then.
call.
Okay. So we'll see if anybody has any. I don't think they want to, not even a try. So I'll give you the two options. So one of these is correct. One of them is not. One of them is, I want Donnie here. And the other one is, I'm one down here. So see if you hear either one of those. Oh, so Wade has got the I want. They heard that.
Donnie must have been what I remembered you saying, so that's what I heard. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear any distinct words until you said either of those choices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
sorry.
only heard it when you...
I saw plating.
Now I hear I want Donnie here.
You're welcome.
I didn't hear anything until you said the words.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what, because I started listening for that.
Yep.
Otherwise, no, it was just that creepy under the bed noise.
So this one, the EVP, what they have that they claim to hear is I'm one down here. The I want Donnie here is something that I kind of heard when I first listened to it. Yeah. So I actually took these along with some people I worked with and did the same thing. I played it for them. They really didn't hear anything. So I kind of split them up and I told one group that it says one down here. And of course they heard it. And I told the other group, I want Donnie here. Of course they heard that as well.
Okay, question though. The one that they said it was.
Yes.
Did they all agree on that? Or was it one person's interpretation telling everybody else, and this is what it says?
In the EVP?
Yeah.
In the clip? It was that came from a collection of clips from this group. So it didn't there wasn't like this wasn't played by itself necessarily and then discussed. It was like number 2 on the list. And
okay, but how did they come up with what they think it was saying? It was not an independent group of people listening and agreeing on all those words. Was it one person that said, I think this is what it is?
Dave, you are giving way too much credit.
Just
for that.
asking, man. Just asking.
Stop being skeptical, Dave.
Um,
Damn it.
yeah, pretty much was this came from, like I said, it was a clip of a collection, I think some groups top 10. And so they just had them back to back to back to back. And I thought it was pretty good.
All right.
Not the EVP was pretty good, just it was like a nice source. So I used it. All right.
All right. I will add mine and play mine. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let me get to the play screen here. And you ready? Here we go. I'll play it one more time.
I have no idea. Do you know what else I do that I just realized that is not, I don't know why I do it. But even with headphones, I lean forward like it's going to
I
fucking
do that
help.
too. I do that too. Like I'm getting closer to the screen.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Okay. So I don't know if Bob heard I want tacos. Can you scratch my feet? Okay. So what I heard was 7 years ago, our father. I just did that too. Okay. So this was one recorded back a long time ago by our old group in, I think it was in the Brumder Mansion in Milwaukee. And there was two opinions, which people didn't actually, we didn't tell each other what we thought it said, but we kind of did it independently and everybody came together. And people heard one of two things. Have you seen Grandma's wedding ring? Or have you seen Grandma's rosary? So I'll play it again, and obviously you'll probably hear one of those things. Sorry. Got to back it up here. Wow, that's really fast. Okay, here we go. Then we'll do it one more time and then be done with this one.
The first time you played it, I heard grandma and I think wedding ring. Then while you were rewinding it, I read this. I really did hear crack pipe, and then you were playing it while I was reading crack pipe. Then I heard him say crack pipe in the.
Well, it was in a questionable area of Milwaukee, so the crack pipe might be a legit response. So, again, at years and years and years ago, we thought that was a great EVP. But now you listen to it, and the way you should analyze it, there's a lot of different opinions on what it could potentially say. So, all right, that's my first one. So I'm out.
All right. Oh, you're
Kenny,
muted, Kenny.
You're muted.
I am not ready.
That's okay.
I'm trying to find. I had a file and I can't find it now. But that just adds to my day.
No
anyway,
worries. We all have days like that. We got each other. We got each other.
So
I got another one ready to go if you're ready.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Kenny?
No, I'm far from ready.
Okay. Well, then let me. I can do another one here quick. All right. Window. Let me get this shared. All right. Here we go. Add it to the stream. Why is it? There we go. Oh, all right. Ready? Let's see if you can hear this one. Play it again. One more time. Any guesses on that one?
It sounds almost like a washing machine. Like somebody turned the recorder into the laundry room and then went back. Like I don't hear anything.
Okay.
I mean, I hear a noise, but I don't understand any words.
Right. So this was recorded in solitary, I believe it was solitary confinement at Mansfield Reformatory, Ohio State Reformatory. The background was it was a bunch of females doing the recording, and there was no males in that area. And we know that for sure because we rented out or booked the entire place. So we sent a group of females down there, and that's all that was down there. So the interpretation was it sounds like a male voice, but again, that's kind of a subjective opinion. And what the consensus was, and this was before, you know, we all learned to get everybody's take on it independently. The consensus was you're a slut.
Oh,
So now let's see if you can hear that when I play it.
that's a little rough.
That makes sense, you know, but male prison, bunch of females in solitary.
Yeah.
You got to consider the context of how they were interpreting that is very important in how you and what you hear here.
That's
So let's-
you're right.
Let's listen to it again.
Damn.
Yeah.
You can
Damn.
hear it now, can't you?
Yep. Wow.
So I always think that's a fun one. I just find that one amazing. It's just a lot of fun.
That's
That-
amazing because that's like it just I'm so amazed at how it just jumps out at you. You know,
Yep.
like you don't hear anything. And I swear, like the washing machine thing, it was funny, but it like that's what I heard. Something like
Mhm.
that. And then you just give me a phrase to go by and boom, now I hear it and I can't unhear it.
Yeah. Isn't
Damn.
that interesting?
That
I
is
love
awesome.
that. I just love that one.
You know what though? What you just said, I think we should not skip without at least saying how important that was. The context. Like I must have missed. I was looking for a yellow and red soccer cards for Kenny. I was going to start with the yellow card, but I couldn't find them. So I must have missed the context unless you just didn't tell. But if you were in a prison and there were female people with the group or just doing their own independent investigation, and then you have that, I can see where, especially if someone in the story, you could say this is where the rapists were kept, this is where people that had sexual offenses were kept, and the stories, these three people in these three jail cells were you know, whatever state that's in, they were the state's most notorious sex offenders. And then you would have that background, and then you would hear that, and I could see how that would influence what you think you hear.
Yep. I love that one. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, I got another one here. So wait, Kenny, you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm still looking. I don't
You're
know where
fine.
it is.
All right, here we go. All right, I'll do it
Okay,
again.
hold up. Are there any human voices in there, or is this whole thing an EVP?
This whole thing is the EVP. It's a very long sentence. You ready?
Yep.
You want it one more time?
It sounds very dreamy.
It does, I know.
Like I'm half asleep and I'm kind of hearing somebody speaking, but I just can't figure out what they're saying.
Someone farts. All right, so one more time. Here we go. I like the people saying afternoon because now that when I'm watching that, I can hear that as well.
As soon as Kevin said this, afternoon, let's sing, they come to you. That's what I heard.
Yep. I think that was exactly the one I saw. And I think Bob also had afternoon. And then now, even though I'm looking at the words, I'm still hearing afternoon. Let's sing. So you ready for the big disclosure of what it's supposed to be?
Preach the truth.
So it's supposed to say, according to the group that captured it, help me, I'm drowning, I can't breathe. So you ready with that? Help me,
Wow.
I'm drowning, I can't breathe.
Oh, of course.
So that I hear in the beginning, I hear afternoon,
Yes, many people
and then the last part, it almost sounds like I can't breathe.
did. Mm-hmm.
But
Interesting.
I didn't hear drowning.
Do you want
Or
it again?
help me. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Yep. Hold on. 1 second.
Yeah, yeah. Like I hear it again, but I think it's because I've already convinced myself that's what I'm hearing. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's weird.
With such a strong consensus over afternoon and let's sing, maybe the original interpreters of this got it wrong.
All right, I can't find the files, but I don't know if it transferred over because I saved them from my phone
Hey,
on
hey,
my
hey, Ron.
OneDrive, and I can't find them. So
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
You're out.
I'm out.
Where's my? I
That's
wish I
okay.
had my red card now.
I will
Flag on the
move
play.
on to my next one.
Let me get this out of your way.
Good afternoon, and then testing. Donna heard testing.
All right. Ready? Let me get this added to the stream. All right. Ready?
Turn up.
This one was maybe recorded outside. I'm not sure too much on the backstory, but you hear a little something in there at one point. There's a little like wispy thing that comes in. So
I
I'll
don't
play
hear
one more
anything.
time.
Just the crickets.
Okay.
Maybe I might more. I think in the beginning, the first half than the second half, but it's almost
Yep.
like it sounds like background noise to me. This would be I would need headphones to really listen to this and then lean forward like Tim.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll play it one more time.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything.
Well, that's good because guess what? I made that one up.
Yeah.
I added a cricket noise and it's called a
Get it,
white
Tim.
noise stab. I probably should have made the white noise stab a little more prominent, but if you had headphones on, it actually sounds like some whispering sound to it. So I just wanted to see if I could get you all on one I created.
Nice.
All right, that was fun.
We attract very intelligent listeners because
We
I don't
do.
think anybody fell for that. That was good. I had a little heads up and in pre-practicing, I got the inside scoop on that one, so I can't take any. I'm going to skip one because it was with one of those ghost boxes, and
Okay.
I'm just not into and supporting anything. A wrinkle of a phallic should put out there.
Don't want to put it out there and then huff and puff about it.
Yeah, it was bad enough. I'm sorry, going through that shit. But hey, Claire, first time here. Hope you are well from the UK. Nice, welcome. All right, so let me make sure. I hope I don't get the wrong one, but I will pop this one up, and we'll get started. Let me back it up a little bit, and the next EVP. It's from a broken Radio Shack hack, but we'll go again. I know.
I hear Tim is drunk.
I'm on my way. This is true.
You're
Strangely enough, I heard the same thing Dave did.
Oh, you were.
That's awesome.
I heard it.
You heard Tim's drunk for real?
Yeah.
Tim is drunk.
Tim is drunk.
Well, I'm playing it again. Hold on. This might be my opening line then. This is my.
John heard it too.
Yeah. So we have a consensus here. Tim is drunk.
I don't hear it.
Of course not. You're drunk. Come on.
I am. This is true.
Interesting. Let's see. Yeah. Bob. Let's see who. Yeah. Interesting. So we had a couple of people that picked up that one. At least heard the same thing that Kenny and I heard. But then again, it's context. Tim had earlier said that he's pouring more alcohol, he's slurring, whatever. I mean, you made a couple comments like, we know you've been drinking. So that's in our heads. And even though you said that, and it wasn't said right before you played that, the context is obviously still there. So your brains are kind of working through things. And, you know, at that point, maybe it's like almost a subliminal thing. He said it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of stuck with us. And when you find something that sounds like, you know, something you heard earlier, maybe that's what we're pulling in. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe I'm not hearing it because I'm just reading from I'm looking at it.
Jade
well.
Kitten still hears I'm drunk. Let's say, okay.
Tim needs energy. Oh, no, John.
Tim needs energy. All right.
All right. So I will
Tim.
play it for you. I will tell you what it is. It's 3 parts. The first is you gotta, then a space. Enjoy the ride. Here we go. You gotta enjoy the ride.
That sounds like at least 2 different voices or 2 different tones. I don't know if
2 different radio stations.
Yeah. So was that a ghost box?
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't the.
So
that was a Shack hack, not one of the $900.
Yeah, that's. That just burns me up. I hate that kind of shit when it's like. When people try to reason, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. When they try to reason that a spirit is using the quote unquote energy from the broadcasts to create speech, yet they are using the actual transmissions that are we're hearing the actual transmissions coming over it. So we're hearing 2 or 3 different voices in that. And then they're still trying to make that claim that it's the same ghost responding using all 3 frequencies and just totally ignore the fact that the fucking radio is scanning. It's moving on its own through the stations. Oh, it burns me up. it just doesn't make sense. It just is completely nonsensical when we get into that, and it's ridiculous. It burns me up. I hate
Again,
those
it's pretty interesting. Our listeners are picking up the different types of voices, and even between male and female. So maybe, like you said, my thing is it's picking up radio stations, so it's picking up different broadcasts.
Yeah, just it's weird.
Okay, last one. So this one, people claim to get EVPs during thunderstorms. Of course, why? More energy in the environment. So let's play this one and see what people think it is. Oh, let me back it up. Sorry. All the way back. Here we go. One more time. Any guesses?
My
No.
best guess would be that it sounds like someone's at a microphone going.
Right. Let me play it one more time. Okay. No, we had a couple. JD, it's a drum solo. Sounds like Tim trying to get to bed after the show. After a few. Okay, that's good. I got nothing. Something midnight. Let me turn that one off. Sorry. Let's see. I got nothing. Something midnight. Kenny's beard. That is a plate dropping on a dining room table. Sounds like chairs moving. Heavy breathing. Aaron says he's a bad one. Okay. This is another one I made up. It says you've been Tim Vickard in a background with thunder and a storm. So I'll play it one more time. Ready? So it says you've been Tim Vickard. Anyway, so that's my last one.
This is what it's like getting a psych degree. It really is doing this. You're pulling out all the psychological stops on it. The one thing I learned going through psychology is when someone says, hey, would you like to take part in this psychological test? We're going to do an experiment. And this is all you need to do. You just, we're going to test that person over there to your left. What I learned is you are going to be the one being tested when someone asks. So don't fall for it. So that's good. That's exactly how it should work.
All right.
All right. I got another one.
All right.
Okay, go in here. This one's more traditional. I got away from the Shack Hack, the broken radio. Make sure this is the right one, and here we go. So this one actually, the clip itself played twice. I just went ahead and left it in there like that. So when they posted it, they did a back to back. So this is actually two things saying the same thing. Thoughts on that one?
Nothing.
Anybody else?
I don't have anything on that.
All right.
I Jesus, this is we really suck at this game.
Yeah.
I mean, we go to extremes, I think, because we can pick out different tones of different voices when it's not one complete sentence. But when it's like here's a phrase by the same voice. We can't tell shit.
No,
I love
Nope.
no. So the what they proffered this to be is hi. That was pretty cool, and they also said that it's the voice of a small male child. So I'll play it a couple times with hi. That was pretty cool.
I hear like a British accent on that one.
I'll do it again.
Now that you said that. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And we're at the hour mark, so let me go ahead. I got one more.
Yep.
And then we can talk about some of them. Here we go. This is my last one. And share away. So there are voices in the background. I should have said that there are voices where people are talking, setting up equipment in the background for that. So I'll play it again. It's a whisper.
Man. I hear she's a girl.
Ooh, that's close. You have two of them. Let's go. I'm going to play it again then.
Stand by my first guess because I have nothing else.
So in context, if I'm not mistaken, if this is the correct one, this is an EVP that was captured in an old county jail that is converted over to a kind of like a dress shop or a clothing store. And so I'm just giving you that because I think what you talked about earlier about the context when you're there makes a lot of sense. So according to the EVP, there's two people. There's two different voices in this. And the first person said, enough. And the second person says, she's a virgin. And then the first person comes back with, that's enough. So they played it out like they were arguing over one of the investigators being there, and one was trying to be protectful, and the other one was not. So here we go. So enough. She's a virgin. That's enough.
I still don't hear it.
I love it. One more time.
I hear like a little girl whisper kind of thing, like she's a virgin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is supposed to be a whisper between two people.
Sorry, I'm not paying attention to all the details because I'm still looking. I found one. I found one that I want to play.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sorry because I was like half listening, and then because I know I'm asking questions that you already answered.
Again, I like while you're pulling that up, I just want to go like back to what we were saying when we started. Like the context is everything. Like when you take an EVP out of its environment, not the EVP itself, but the recording or at least the documentation of an EVP out of its environment with no cues, no either like emotional cues or ties to prime, then you end up with not something so much that is as clear as what you thought it was.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I did share it. You should see it.
Right. Okay, let me get it.
So, okay. Here we go.
I heard. Yeah, I hear something.
I hear something.
Play it again. You want it again, or people? I heard asshole. I heard there is only Zool. I'll play it one more time.
I heard the same thing Laura Lee heard. Give me your soul.
That's what I heard as well.
Someone yelling Europe at the sink. What? What does that mean? Give me your soul. That's good. That's good. All right. So I took cue from Dave and I made this literally while you guys were talking. That's me. And while you guys were talking, when I muted my mic, I just said, "Give me your soul," and then I went in and just lowered the tone, just a bit to see if I could get it low. But that I know I faked it, but you're gonna get this. You're gonna get this a lot, and one. You're welcome, John. Did I get him? I got him, didn't I?
So let's answer John's question here.
Yeah. Well,
Does anybody matter? Yes. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I've played around. Actually, I was going to try to do something more intense where I was going to take white noise and play around with the volume. Just have the white noise volume go up and down, fade in and out, and see if people pick that up. But I didn't have the time to get into my other music editing program. So yes, John, I think that's definitely possible. So,
I mean, one of the things that we do come across is people that over edit, they over filter,
they over process the shit out of these things, and
that drives me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the most I'll do if somebody sends me something is I might boost the volume a little bit and maybe try to back out some of the background noise, but that's about it. Yeah. I don't put all that other processing shit on there. I know I might play with the EQ on the low, mid, and high range stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes to the question of like how much editing is too much editing. You know, how much filtering is too much. Because I mean, I would do the same thing. I would boost the volume. I don't see as any kind of editing. You're just turning it up. You're amplifying the sound. But when you start getting into filters and you're boosting the background, like what if it is just background noise, you know? And when we boost it, we just make a background noise more prevalent.
That's why I try to take the background out, because there's programs where you can sample a point where they say there's nothing going on. Take that, and then it'll go through and back that out of the whole thing, and then it sometimes clears it up, and other times it eliminates the whole fucking thing. To your point, it's like, well, it's obviously background noise.
I've done that because the video software that I use does that. And it's sometimes it works really well, you know, when your intention is just producing a video. But when you're trying to listen to something like that, and it's exactly what you said, Dave, sometimes you take out the background noise and boom, there goes what you were looking for. And it's like, oh, shit.
Yep.
But I mean, how many times have you heard the metallic sound when they so over process it that you get that metallic tinting sound? And it's like, oh, just stop. Forget it. I'm out. You know?
Absolutely.
So have any of us looked into phone EVP apps?
I've looked, to be honest, I've looked at them, but as I said before, it's been many, many years since I've played around with EVP. So I have not actually played with it or tested it in any certain condition or to any extent. So I'd have to say, I really don't know.
So I've played with some of them, and I've observed, especially going to some of the events that I go to, you get to watch ghost hunters play with these apps. And for the most part, they are nothing more than just you're using the microphone, just you're recording and you play it back. That's basically it. They can apply some filters to it, but it's doing the same thing that you would normally do anyway. Most people would they'll record something, they listen to it right away, they think they hear something, and they go back home and they put it on their computer and they process it. So there's really not much difference between what they're doing with like a digital recorder or your phone, which is a digital recorder. It's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. I don't see really any difference.
I played the one main experience I had with a phone app, and I can't remember the name of it, but we our company had a dinner for donors and awards for people that work with us and in the community. Well, we had it at a facility that has a nice reputation. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but has a reputation for being haunted. And some of the workers that the people that were putting on the dinner, of course, when I'm in a place like that, I get up to excuse myself to go to the restroom, then I disappear for 30 minutes while I'm walking around this facility, just checking it out,
Whatever. You're sitting on the throne playing on your phone.
That too. I mean, who knows? But this particular time, because it was supposed to be so haunted, I just took off walking and just exploring it. And I actually walked up on 3 employees that were there working and catering the dinner, I guess taking a break, but they were upstairs on a floor. It was, it was really kind of dark, and they were really kind of scared, and they were like, "Oh, check this out." They introduced themselves, and they're just like, we're watching ghosts. And they showed me on their phone app, like, if you could just stay still and it would do ghost radar. Maybe that was it. It just,
it goes around. Yeah.
And then these dots would come close and turn, and they would just sit there and scream and just like get scared as shit. And I was like, I don't understand. And then I suggested, I was like, well, one's taking off down the hall back. Let's go see where it goes. And they were like, hell no. But in all honesty, I don't believe I would ever trust a phone app. Not like that. To do like a little pitch for Dave in that project that they're working on, I would trust something like that because I believe that they have integrity into what they're saying. But a phone app where it just has like blips on a radar, and I would not. So
right,
I would stay away from phone apps.
Yep, I agree.
I watched. Was it the night we were at White Hill Mansion? No, we were there by ourselves, Tim. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I was there during a ghost hunt. I think it was like National Ghost Hunting Day or something, and I was there, and I followed a few. There were a bunch of girls that were using the ghost radar and going around the second floor, like following the dots until the point they got to. There was a dot, and they were by a window, and it was outside the window, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's outside!" I'm like, first of all, I play a lot of video games. Is this like by level? Is this showing you below and above you, or it's saying that something's outside. What's this going by? And they couldn't tell me, but they believed it. They were walking around tracking the dots, and that's a video game. It's really a video game that you don't get to play. You just get to follow, and it's I can't believe people still use this, but they do, and we still see it. And it's usually grouped in or packaged with something else. Like, oh, here's a ghost radar with the EVP recorder, which is just using the microphone on your phone. It's not anything special. They just give it that name. And, like you go to the room or go to the area where the dot is and you'll get EVPs, but you're not. You're basically getting yourself talking, your excited tones, your heavy breathing, other people in the room or walking around. There's so many other causes. And again, it goes back to what I mentioned in the beginning, well, not in the beginning, but when I finally showed up, about no controls when you're doing these recordings at all. And it's open to anything. And that's the big problem. Well, one of the big problems. So there you go.
I thought you were going to say it was something that was coupled with like the Ghost app, the Ghost Radar app, coupled with shit that's going to steal your personal information.
Well, it steals your $1.99 when you buy that. So
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
I think, yeah, we're 114. I'm out. I think what I'm going to do, though, however, for people is one of the things I was going to do. I'm glad Dave kind of thought about starting out the show with one of those websites, but going through looking and finding auditory illusions. I found a really interesting website that came up with some different examples, of which I have them here. The McGurk effect, we did talk about that. And I showed that video, but there's also the tritone paradox. That's something to look up, and I'm going to leave a link to this website so you can go look at them as well. And there's something that was pretty interesting. It's called the speech to song illusion. So what they do is they have someone that just repeats the same sentence over and over and over and over again, and your brain will start putting music to the, your well, I don't want to say music like you're hearing music, but you will begin to perceive that as a song. And then, of course, the I'm not even going to try too much alcohol. The restoration effect. I think it's just really good. And again, like I want to start out. Once again, I'm not saying I don't want to be the one to try to say these are reasons why your EVP isn't real. Or you don't, or there's no such thing as a ghost. Like I can't say that there's not. I don't believe that there are yet. I'm open to it. I haven't seen it. But what I would like to use this opportunity when we think about these topics is to just think and look at different ways that you can kind of keep yourself in check and not make simple mistakes. So just looking at how easily your brain's tricked and how easily you can take in auditory stimuli and your brain just doesn't know what the fuck to do with it sometimes, and it just makes shit up. It's like, okay, we're going to fill in the blanks, and then there you have it. You've heard something and you've convinced your brain that it's real, and what you heard was actually what it is not. So I like topics like this. It's kind of fun. I like the interaction, and I like it does not bother me to share and put on example all my faults when it comes like this, because I've made a lot, and I don't know why. It just really doesn't bother me talking about all the mistakes I've made over the years. I kind of think it's good that someone can do that and talk about their mistakes, and hopefully other people will listen and not make the same mistakes. So I'm going to hand it. Let's see. What do you think, Dave?
Same thing. I think it's important to share, our mistakes in the past and mistakes maybe that others make, and talk about them. Not necessarily. I mean, it's not just about calling it out. It's about learning. How do you learn from your mistakes and become better? And EVP is tricky. There's not a lot of good ones out there, and there is a way to collect this data and analyze it appropriately, but that is not being done. So unless it starts being done in an appropriate manner, EVP is going to remain in the realm of it's fun. I think for people that are believers, they're going to use it to confirm what they already believe. For those that don't believe, they're going to punch holes in it, rightfully so. But for those that are in the middle, I think that's important to recognize what's being done incorrectly and what needs to be done, and correct that, and try to collect actually some quality data and see if there's something to it. I mean, there's a lot of very simple, low cost to no cost controls that can be put into place to collect these things, and there's a way to analyze them, and it's just not being done. So anyway, it was fun. Obviously, priming has a big impact on this. As soon as you tell somebody what you think you hear, we're all hearing it. So just be aware of that. And it's always fun. I love EVPs. I can't hear shit, but it's fun.
I can't hear shit. I'm going to make you a t-shirt, Dave. I can't hear shit. And just,
dude, I'm old enough. I'll wear that shirt proudly.
And then, but I'm going to put EVP expert. I can't hear shit.
Hey,
and then marching around Gettysburg.
Else, man.
I want you to go around Gettysburg, the conference, just wearing that.
I'll wear it. You make it, I'll wear it.
Oh, deal. That's done. Donna, I
You
know
the
you're
expert.
watching.
I can't hear shit.
There you go.
All right.
So I'm, as with most times, I'm in agreement with these guys. I mean, EVP, I don't give it any credibility whatsoever until such time that they actually bring out really good practices. Then I really don't consider it anything progressive or contributing anything to progression of good evidence. And I want to point out, like, this show, this kind of show, and I think we've done this once or twice before. I like it because at no time do we make fun of or mock anyone. We are taking EVPs that are, well, these guys, because I dropped the ball, but we're taking EVPs from other teams or other investigators, and we're putting them out there for our version of peer review. And we're basically, at the very basic level, we are demonstrating the flaw with this technique, this practice, because it's showing that not everyone agrees on this. We can play it, and when you take it out of context, when you have no contextual cues for what you're supposed to hear, then it's fair game. It's open season. It's as far as the eye can see, the amount of guesses of what's being said. I mean, we went from one that I thought it sounded like a washing machine and not a voice. I mean, that's a far stretch from what it was most likely promoted as. So think about that when you're listening to these, or you're putting them up on your Facebook page or your own team's website. And again, we're not mocking. We're doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're reviewing them. We're seeing, hey, does this hold water? Does this stay true? Can we all hear the same thing? But obviously we're not, and we didn't at all tonight. I don't think we heard the same thing. Even the fake ones, that came up, we were hearing different things or nothing at all, which was probably good, but we still didn't hear the same thing.
Right.
Yep.
Priming is a big problem. And I mean, I've preached on that. We've preached on that before. Priming is a big problem because we demonstrated that tonight. I mean, perfectly. As soon as we were told what to hear or what to listen for, it was there. So that's a big problem. You should be able to hear it. We're talking to you right now. There is no context to what I'm saying. I'm speaking to you. I'm coming up with my own thoughts. And I'm pretty sure everyone can understand what I'm saying. You can understand the words coming out of my mouth. That's the way it should be. If ghosts can communicate through these devices and people are classifying them, because there is classifications out there.
We didn't get into that. Oh my God.
We didn't get into that. But when someone says this was a Class A EVP, you should hear it just like you're hearing me talk to you right now. That's that. I can't say anything else about that. And with that, done.
All right, let me go through. There's like some questions here before we go. And I want to hit them. Laura asked, one for you, Kenny.
Uh-oh.
Did you grow that beard or have I just noticed it?
I did grow that beard. Yes. All by myself too. Yes, I did. It's coming in very nicely. It's actually a little bit more even this time, because the last time I grew it in this much, I wasn't sure that I wanted to grow it at the time. So it was I was hiding it as best I could, but now it's very even. I do on this side, I have this streak of black that's going back. Yeah. I have a little bit on this side, but it's weird.
Welcome to old age.
Yeah. Well,
I can't even get one freaking hair color right. It's either gray or black. Come on.
Yeah, But yes, I did grow the beard. I like the look. I like the almost professor. It makes me look smart, much smarter than I am. So I'm gonna go with it.
Dave looks up in nice agreement.
Looks like the Santa Claus.
It's where I was getting ready to say too.
There you go. Well, you're on the naughty list, bitch.
You get cold.
Whatever.
Will you guys be here next week with the Three Tortured Souls, except for Kenny?
Oh yeah. So I didn't tell you guys. I will not be here next week.
So we will not be here next week. We
Okay.
are the three amigos, three tortured souls. We stick together. I think we've all pitched go ahead
Yeah.
and do the show without me multiple times, and we all just wait until the three of us can make it. So
Yeah. I have a
It'll be,
secret mission where I would be gone all next week. So I'm not doing my Friday night show next week, and I won't be here for Saturday either. So, but I'll tell you guys next week. Well, the week after, what happened.
okay, looking forward to it.
See, this is why he really grew it, so he could do this.
I know. I love. I have gotten into that.
You get his
Where-
evil, his very evil
Yeah.
beard.
My evil thing, and you know what? I really want to get to the point where this grows out long because I want to do that. The Kung Fu Master from Kill Bill. When he
God.
goes like that. That's what I want to do. I
All
love
right.
those films.
I want to keep this on because I thought it was a really good question. Because have you ever converted a believer after showing them some proof? I've tried. People hate me for trying. I have ended up, for me, why I like this, what I particularly wanted to address this is because I kind of evolved from doing a discussion where my goal was to at least to get them to believe that it is a possibility that it's not real. And it kind of always ended up the same way with me. So people ended up vickering me. I mean, that's how the hell I ended up getting that. And, just being straightforward with people and saying, this is what's wrong with that. And these, I even at times would address very bluntly. I would say something like, oh, what you're doing is a ad hominem fallacy. What you're doing, what this is a no true Scotsman, Texas sharpshooter. So I would throw out this fallacy towards them and say, this is what you're doing wrong. Quickly learn that wins you no points with anybody. So I stopped doing that. But again, so this was rather how I evolved over doing rather proper discussion, what I would believe. So I don't try to convert anybody. What I do like to think that I'll do is to listen to what makes them believe. And I want that information. I want to know why they believe it. I want to know their history of why they believe it. And then while we discuss, I just want to leave a seed, just a seed for them to think about. It can grow, it cannot. That's not my responsibility, but maybe if they'll listen and maybe grow that seed and let them do some thought, maybe they can come up with their own. So I just kind of want to say, when you say I've tried that and people hate me for trying, I mean, honestly, that's how that vicar kind of got in here, because I get banned from so many places. So it's just kind of being really careful for me. I mean, do you guys got any thoughts on that?
So I'd say no. I've only gotten pushback and heated exchanges, and all they really are looking to do is get you to more or less agree with them, and that's it. So I have had no success in that. I think the most success I've had is maybe trying to understand why they think that, by asking them, why do you think that? Explain it to me. We've talked about this before. So if it's a true believer, it's going to be very hard to convince them otherwise, because they're seeking out information and data to confirm their beliefs and what they think is true. And quite honestly, the more you push back and argue with them, sometimes the more they're going to dig in. So me personally, I haven't had a whole lot of success there. And quite honestly, that's not the crowd I typically want to spend a whole lot of time interacting with or rolling with. So I rather go with open-minded and kind of, leave it to, it could be this, that, or, 2 or 3 other things. Let's leave the door open for other possibilities. So that's it.
Right. So I guess for me, the goal is never to convert anyone. That's not my job. That's not my purpose, I guess, in this. the purpose is to provide information. So I don't actively, well, anymore. I mean, I used to actively look for fights. I mean, admittedly, I used to. Yeah, but
I found your YouTube page way long ago.
yeah,
And
I
you were
was
like,
very
"This is
angry.
your whole like." I'm going to explain orbs. They're not real. Fuck you, bitch. That's it. Come at me. That was like your whole explanation. It was great.
My approach is more or less, if someone wants information. Well, there's actually two approaches. One is if someone's looking for information and they ask, then by all means, I am yes, I will have a conversation with you. We will discuss it, and through that, yes, I won't say like it's hard to answer your question because you're asking if we've ever converted a believer, and I'm not sure how far that goes. Like, how far do you mean? Like to a total skeptic or what? I've had people change their way of thinking. And a real short anecdote: I was at, for all things, in Gettysburg last year, when the three of us were together, and I did a panel discussion with Jason Hawes, one of and admittedly she was a friend of mine, but there were a bunch of girls in the front row. We call them our peaches. Well, they have a thing. It's their peaches, and I'm an honorary peach. That's a whole other story. Anyway, so one of them, Jossie, she actually spoke up, and like it was a really heartfelt, emotional thing where she said that after conversations with me, she completely changed her way of thinking because she never realized there was so much more to the equipment, the investigating, the controls, the science, and all this, and that I took the time to talk to her, not talk at her or do the mansplaining thing or I'm better than you kind of thing. We sat and had a nice conversation, and that's my approach with most people. If they want information, I will get it for you. I will tell you what I know. If I can demonstrate it right there, yes, I will absolutely do it. We'll go through, I'll get my cameras out. We'll replicate some pictures. We'll do some recordings. We'll do whatever, just to go through it so you can understand, because doing it is sometimes better to understand than just me telling you. The other approach is when, and we'll just flat out say it, there's a douchebag in the crowd, and they're preaching really bad information, false information that is just mind-bogglingly fucked up false. And I can't not say anything. I have to say something. I'm going to be that guy that raises my hand. And I'm going to say, no, that's not right. This is what's really, and I've done it with like the flashlight trick. I've interrupted people because they've taught something about the flashlight trick being real. And I'm like, no, that's science. That's dead on science. And we can go through the entire explanation and I can demonstrate it for you. And I mean, they fought me on it, but you're as long as you have what you have the facts to back you up, you have the good data to back you up, then by all means, preach it, brother or sister, whatever. But have I converted someone? Again, I don't know what you mean by converted. Have I changed people's way of thinking? Yes, I have. And it's the approach. And I mean, it's patience. I can't stress it enough. Patience, Patrick Swayze rule, be nice. That's the combination of those two. Listen to people. Yes, when they have a claim, when they have a story, when they have something that happened, listen to them. Don't dismiss them. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a total tangent here, but I mean, these are approaches, and the short answer is kind of. I guess I don't know how to answer the question really, but there you go.
I think it's good. I'll throw in real fast. If you're willing to actually listen and be prepared to change your way of thinking as well when you're discussing or just at least throwing some conversation about an idea, I think that comes across as well as being genuine, and that will help people kind of drop their guard. If you're genuinely going, look, if you can convince me, I'm here. Like, I'll do it. But we're going to discuss stuff.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So I'm going to start with Dave and ask what you got coming up. before we get to Kenny. So what you got coming up?
Saturday night, this show done.
Except for next week, which is
Except for next week. Yes. Okay.
Same for me. I liked how when I started this question, Kenny put on his glasses and he's looking at his calendar. So Kenny, what do you have coming up?
I have to be able to read the little writing on my phone. So every Friday night, I do a show called The Skeptical Help Hour at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's usually just me. My wife Donna sits on the side; she helps produce the show, mainly taking care of the chat room. And we do either open mic nights when I don't have a guest, where you can ask any questions and we look it up, or I give you my opinion. We talk, we debate. People can come on the show. Other times I have a guest, and it's a learning show, so the guest has to have something to do with education, or teaching us something, giving us ideas about something we don't know about. Saturday nights I do this awesome show with these two guys. Most of the time I'm on time, and I'm better prepared than tonight. But other than that, I have a few events coming up. A friend of ours who's sometimes in the chat, John without an H. His group is actually coming up in July from North Carolina, and I'm going to be attending an event at Fort Mifflin with them, which is going to be cool. I'm going to attend an investigation with them. July 16th is Skeptical Conference, which is a science conference put on by the California Skeptics, and I'm speaking on the 16th. I'm going to be talking about my journey. This actually has to do with some of this stuff, from ghost hunter to skeptical activist, and what kind of changed my mind and how I went about that. To 23rd of July is Para Unity Conference in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I'll be there set up with my skeptical help booth table, and I'll be the only skeptic in the house. So you can come up. I'll have various gadgets that you can test, like testing gadgets you can play with, and touch, feel, and have fun with. And then I'll be there to answer your questions. I'll also be taking donations for St. Jude, because that's our charity this year that we're going to take donations for. And then let's see. That's a secret thing I can't tell you about. That's a secret thing I can't tell you about. August 19th to 21st, I'll be in Gettysburg with these two guys. The Three Tortured Souls will be in Gettysburg for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. It's a paranormal conference. Lots of things going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you have the means to get there, please come out. Come visit us. We're going to have a booth set up. I know I'm doing one panel discussion with several people, so that should be fun. There's other people there that we've talked about on the show, so that should be a lot of fun. Yay!
Yeah, actually, it will be. It should be.
And then the last thing I have, I have a lot of shit going on. October 20th to 23rd is SciCon in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'll be there speaking on Friday. I'll be on the big stage talking about bridging the gap between some believers and skeptics working together. So some of the stuff I just went into a couple minutes ago. So there you go. That's my schedule. Hopefully it goes over well. I have no idea. So we'll see.
All right.
Excuse me. All right. Well, let's see. I know we're not here. Someone's going to see you in Vegas.
Oh,
it's going to be good.
Awesome. Good. Yeah. Come up. Introduce me. If you bring me a bottle of rum, I will be your best friend. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
All right.
So, yeah. Hell, now I've already forgot what the hell I was talking about. We will be off next week, but who's up next? I know it's not me. You?
I think Kenny.
Yeah. I think me.
Dave's like,
I've already picked my topic. I already got my topic.
That? I missed it.
I picked it. We're going to talk about the God helmet.
Okay. Sounds good.
I knew, because as soon as it came up, it came up last night. Somebody mentioned it. I was like, I know a little bit about it, not much. And I even called you out, Dave. I was like, this is something that Dave needs to be here for.
Be good. I've spent a lot of time reading on that. So
good. So we have 2 weeks.
Actually bought something similar to it. There was somebody who worked in that lab that tried to start a company that developed a consumer version of that. So
Ooh.
I actually have one of them, and we've played around with it with a couple people.
Wait,
You have-
what?
You have one? You're just now being brought up?
It's
Yeah, we just know about this now.
very
Where's
basic.
my red
and
card?
I'm not sure how exact it is to Persinger stuff. So we'll talk about that when your topic comes up.
Yellow
Just
card.
imagine this is red. No, straight to red. You're
We'll talk
benched.
about it. I
Can
gotta have some
you-
secrets.
Is that something that you can bring to Gettysburg?
Yes.
Can you bring that to
You
Gettysburg?
got to be careful though. There's a lot of medical things you have to have people
Okay.
sign off on.
Show me where to sign.
Okay. Well, you two, I don't give a shit about, but anybody else,
That's love,
I'll
man.
fry your brain.
That
I
is
don't
love.
care.
That is
Yeah,
good.
exactly. See,
This is how we
I'll
know.
experiment all day on you guys.
Yeah, I can hear it. I think I'll be like
Yeah.
Tim
Well, I'm
first.
looking forward to this show, so I'll break out my notes. That'll be
All
fun.
right, cool.
All
Tim
right.
first.
Good.
Put it
All
on
right.
220 volts and let's do it for TikTok.
Sounds good.
Tim wet his pants. That's hilarious. All right, guys.
All right.
Have a good night. We'll see you guys. Thanks everybody for listening. It was a really good conversation. It was a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. I hope I get this
Have a
right.
good
Here we
one.
go. Closing.
Thanks, Bob.
Don't for Charles, don't for Charles, don't for Charles, game is the real, don't start the game, game is the real, game what is real, don't question me, game is about, game is out, game is about, don't everyone, I'm on TV, play don't for Charles, don't for Charles, don't for Charles, don't for Charles. And for what you say, oh, you'll get better.